Hey guys, Bird Yugioh here, coming at you with another deck profile, of course. This time it is going to be my budget Burning Abyss. Definitely do not sleep on this deck, and especially this version. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here, and a lot of stuff that does combat the meta very, very well, and very, in just a very fun, cool way. So yeah, if you guys haven't already, go and subscribe. I have all of my budget decks from my top 10 budget decks of this format. All those deck profiles coming up. And we will get right into this one. Starting off with one of our main kind of interruption cards. Farfa, if it's sent to the graveyard, you just target a monster on the field and banish it until the end phase. So unfortunately the card does come back, but it still does get rid of it for the time being and doesn't even send it to the graveyard, just banishes it. So that is really nice. Usually you'll be using like Beatrice to send this, or Fiendish Rhino Warrior to send this to the grave, just for getting rid of a problem monster, so that you can then deal some damage to your opponent, or just interrupt their combos and get rid of a key monster. So really nice card. We also play 3 Skarm. It's basically your main way of searching. You have kind of pseudo ways of searching, but this is your true way of just searching. If it's sent to the graveyard during the end phase, you'll be able to add a level 3 Dark Fiend type monster from your deck to your hand. Really, really nice to search out like Tour Guide or whatever you need as far as Burning Abyss goes. And then we play 2 Libic. He's really cool because when he's sent to the graveyard, you can special summon a level 3 Dark from your hand. Its effects are negated, so even if you have like Beatrice on the field, that's not a Burning Abyss card, you can still have that monster stay on board, to then use for something else. I'll show you some cards that we might use that card for. But 2 Libic, I found just for your combos and just extending plays. Libic's really nice. Probably the best card in the deck. Graph. When it's sent to the graveyard, you just special summon a Burning Abyss from your deck. Simple as that. Amazing. Gets you whatever you need. And then Seer is the second best card. That's why they're both limited. They're so, so good. This one, if it's sent to the grave, you just target a Burning Abyss in your graveyard and special summon it. So that could even summon back a Dante. If you have a Dante in the grave, you can target Dante to special summon that back. That's pretty cool to do. And then we play 1 Alec. This is another way of interruption on your opponent's turn, because when this is sent to the graveyard, you could target a face-up monster on the field and negate its effects until the end of the turn. So that's pretty cool. 1 Barbar. He's your highest attack Burning Abyss that we play in the main deck. And then also, if he's sent to the grave, you just banish 3 Burning Abyss cards in your graveyard. And then you'd inflict 300 damage for each one to your opponent. So you could potentially deal 900 damage to your opponent, which is just that one card going to the grave. Kind of cool. And then just 1 Calcab. Doesn't always come up, but it is cool because you can target a set spell and trap on the field and return that target to the hand. So that's the only problem, is it has to be a set spell and trap, but it does still definitely come up. And that is it for the Burning Abyss monsters that we play. For kind of the other Burning Abyss type cards that we play. 2 Tour Guide. This is your best, normal summon. You just normal summon this, and you can special summon basically any Burning Abyss card from your deck. You just special summon a level 3 Fiend type monster, and its effects are negated because all of the Burning Abyss cards, if you control a card that is not a Burning Abyss, a monster, you have to destroy this card. So negating that effect is cool because you just get a free, normally you're going to go into your rank 3 XCs with Tour Guide, but you can kind of do whatever you want. You can go into Cherubini very easily with just Tour Guide. So definitely a necessary card. And then we play 3 Fiendish Rhino Warrior. Might as well be called Fiendish Burning Abyss, because this card, Fiend type monsters you control, except for Fiendish Rhino Warrior, cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. So when you normal summon him, you can use the Burning Abyss card to special summon itself if you control no spell and traps. and then it will not be destroyed by its own effect. So that's really cool. And then also, if it's sent to the graveyard, you can send any other Fiend type monster, so any Burning Abyss, from your deck to the graveyard. So really good for thinning out your deck, or just getting, another card that you need in the graveyard, like a Sir or a Graph, getting one of them. Really nice. And then a cool, very cool tech card that we play, that I like to play in a lot of my Burning Abyss decks, because it is so easy to get out, and it's still very, very good, is Vanity's Fiend. Play 3 of them. It's a dark, and neither player can special summon monsters while this card is on the field. So you basically just need any Burning Abyss monster and Vanity's Fiend. You just special summon the Burning Abyss if you control no spells and traps, and then tribute it to summon out Vanity's Fiend. And then you're just locking your opponent out of special summoning. And then your following turn, so say you have Vanity's Fiend, if you have a Fiendish Rhino Warrior, that's just more protection. You normal summon Fiendish, more protection for your Vanity's Fiend, because Vanity's Fiend is a Fiend type monster, and it won't be able to be destroyed by battle or card effects. So it's going to make it that much harder for your opponent to get rid of Vanity's Fiend, because they'll normally have to get rid of Fiendish Rhino first, and then go after Vanity's Fiend. So, cool card that I've been really liking a lot, and it does work wonders against a lot of decks. So, that is all the monsters we play. Since it is Burning Abyss, you can definitely play traps if you want, hand traps. I'm leaning more towards the regular traps in this version, but you can definitely play hand traps very easily in this. For sure, side deck them if you're not maining them. And then another really cool tech that I'm playing in this version is Mass Change 2 or Mass Change 2nd, however you want to say it. You just discard a card and then target a monster you control. You send it to the graveyard, and then you special summon from your extra deck a masked hero with the same attribute but higher level. So what that means is you're getting out Darklaw, because all you need is a Burning Abyss and another card in hand, basically, to discard for this. And with this card, you're going to be making Darklaw. So really nice, and Darklaw, Masked Hero Darklaw, is very good against most decks. So also, we are playing for some draw power, Allure of Darkness. Everything except for Fiendish Rhino Warrior is dark, so this is almost always live, and you're never having to, draw a dark off of Allure of Darkness. So really good draw power there. And then 2 Pot of Avarice. At minimum, by turn 2, you're normally going to have 5 monsters in your graveyard, and then this just becomes draw 2. So really nice. Pot of Avarice is good in a deck like this that can load up the graveyard easily with monsters. And then Monster Reborn. Again, you should have some monsters in the graveyard to summon back with this, so it becomes just another extender. And then Foolish Burial. Send whatever you need, whatever Burning Abyss card you want to the grave to get their effect off. Foolish Burial is absolutely amazing. And that is it for the spells. Not too high there. We play a lot of traps, though. And the most important one for this version is going to be Trap Trick, because this allows you to basically, you're going to set any normal trap from your deck. You just banish a normal trap from your deck, and then you'll be able to set one with the same name, and then you can activate it that turn as well. So really amazing card, and it's super, super budget now. Definitely try it out. And for the ones that you're basically searching, one of the better ones is going to be Dino-Miscus, because you just target a face-up card in the field, discard a card, and then if you do, you banish the one you targeted. So this will get rid of, I find I have to use this online, especially against like Mystic Mine or some other type of floodgates that your opponent's playing, or problematic monsters, anything. Really, really good card, really important card. And then we play 2 Compulse. It's a card a lot of people seem to have kind of forgotten about, but you simply just target a monster on the field, return to the hand. So, if you're playing a really normal summon reliant deck, once they do that normal summon, you can just bounce that card back to their hand, or an important link monster that they just get out on the board, You can then bounce that back to the extra deck. Really good card. And then we play 2 Lost Wind. For any special summon monster on the field, you can negate its effects, and its attack is halved. And then when this is in the graveyard, if a monster is special summoned from your opponent's extra deck, you can then set this back to your field. So kind of cool. There, you'll be able to use it again your following turn. We also play 2 Fiend Griefing. You just target a monster in your opponent's graveyard, shuffle it into the deck, and then you can send one of your Fiend-type monsters from your deck to the graveyard. So really good interruption. Say your opponent's trying to target a monster in their graveyard to do something, you can use this, and then also get another interruption with, say, like a Farfa that you send to the grave. So really, really good card. We also play 2 Phoenix Wing Windblast. You just discard a card, target a card your opponent controls, and place it on the top of the deck. So that could potentially get rid of, like an important, obviously, any extra deck monster, and then like a field spell that your opponent's needs to stay on the field. You can put that back on top of the deck. Really good card. And then for those trap-heavy decks, or just decks that play a lot of, spells and traps, Heavy Storm Duster, you just target 2 spells and traps on the field, destroy them. You can't conduct your battle phase, but normally you're using this during your opponent's end phase. But yeah, this is my lineup, guys. I didn't really feel the need to play any of these at 3. If, say, you have a Heavy Storm Duster, you're not ever going to need, usually, another one. Potentially you could play 3 Dino-Miscus or 3 Compulsory Evacuation Device, but I've never really felt the need. I kind of just really like this lineup and feel it just covers all of my bases. So yeah, try it out. Trap Trick is going to basically get you whatever one you need or don't have already. So pretty cool there. And then for the extra deck, playing 3 Dante. I find that I never really go into all 3, but it's definitely nice to have. In a potential really heavy grind game, you might need that 3rd one. But this is your way of loading up your graveyard, and then also you can discard a Burning Abyss from your hand and then go into Beatrice, which is your main way of disruption on your opponent's turn, because you can just detach one and then send any card from your deck to the graveyard. And then if this card is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon out Dante. Pilgrim, he's okay. Obviously, he's not as good as Beatrice, but it's just another monster on the board that you can get. It's got some really nice attack, 2800 attack. And then you can send a Burning Abyss card from your hand to the graveyard and draw a card. And that can be during either player's turn. And then if this card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if it's sent to the graveyard by an opponent's card effect, you can send 1 random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. So that, again, really cool effects, all of them. Dante, if he's sent to the graveyard, you can target a Burning Abyss and add it to your hand. So they all just have really good effects if your opponent tries to destroy him somehow. And then the other rank 3 that we play, the only other one, Break Sword. I just wanted a simple out to, potentially problematic cards or monsters. You just make this, and then you could target a card your opponent controls and that you control, and you just destroy him. So sometimes you'll just make him target himself and a card your opponent controls, destroy him, simple as that. And then since we play the Mass Change 2, we're playing 2 Dark Law. I found a lot that I make Dante and then go into Dark Law if you can. And that just right there with 1 or 2 traps even is just really, really good. Dark Law, any card sent to your opponent's graveyard is banished. And then if your opponent adds a card from their deck to their hand, you can banish 1 random card from their hand. So 2 really, really good effects. Really good effects against anything in the meta, basically. And then on to the links, because links are actually pretty easy to make in this. Play Cherubini. That's one of the most important ones. It just requires 2 level 3 monsters. Monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by card effects. And then you can also just send any level 3 monster from your deck to the graveyard. So really, really good effects there. Get your plays going. And then we also play the Nightmares because, again, they're easy to make. They break boards, and you discard cards with them, so they're cool. Cerberus is going to get rid of monster cards. Phoenix, get rid of Spell and Trap. And then Unicorn is just going to target a face-up card on the field. Just target a card on the field and return it to the deck. So it does not send to the grave. Really nice. And then Griffin, it's kind of cool. It could potentially lock your opponent out because special summon monsters on the field cannot activate their effects unless they're linked. So like if you have him pointing to a Dark Law, that's pretty rough for your opponent if you can do that. But also if you make him, you could target a spell and trap in your graveyard and set it to your field. And so like if you use Beatrice's effect to send, you could send any card. You can even send a spell and trap to the graveyard with Beatrice. And then if you can go into a Griffin, you can then set whatever card you just sent, set that to your field. So that's kind of cool. A little gimmicky, but sometimes it's cool to do. And then definitely want to recommend play Topological Trisbania because you can special summon, as long as you control no spell and traps, obviously. You can special summon one of your Burning Abyss to the zone, and then this will blow up itself, but before that, or not before that, but right after it does destroy itself, you still special summon to that zone, so then this will banish all spell and traps your opponent controls. Really good. And then same kind of idea, a little, you gotta have one more extender basically on board to go into Topologic Bomber. But same idea, if you special summon to a zone he points to, you'll destroy all monsters on the field. All monsters in the main monster zone. So really, really good. Both of them do come up. I find Trisbania, if I want to make it, pretty much can make it. If you're playing against a back row heavy, this might be your main goal, is to get to Trisbania, to just get rid of some of those, spells and traps that your opponent has. But yeah, that's the deck, guys. Again, it's a really nice budget version. I want to say probably the most expensive card in here is more than likely Cherubini. I don't know his current price, but nothing too expensive. But this does do some really cool stuff, with Dark Law and Vanity's Fiend. Those alone are just very good against a lot of decks. So try it out, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.